What you see is the everyday life of many tribal conflict zones in Papua New Guinea. This is why today in this video, we are talking about illegal trade of firearms and gun violence in PNG. Gun violence in PNG goes beyond just bandits and armed robberies. Gun-related crimes is by far the country's most pressing issue. In 2018, this unthinkable thing happened in many Southern Islands province. This is a daylight armed robbery by some group of thugs in West Britain in 2021. 50 people were massacred in Wapenamanda district in Enga province on February 2024. And just last week, 2 police officers were shot and killed in the Southern Islands by armed criminals. Their families reacted by blocking the island's highway, disrupting the flow of goods and demanding compensation and petitioning the national government to make arrests. This leads to a standoff in Islands Highway, the only lifeline of the PNG Islands region. A truck from Mapai Transport owned by people of Enga province was banned, along with a PV from Jiwaka province. The owners of these vehicles had nothing to do with the officer's death. It's alarming how one event can lead to reactions across 4 provinces. This shows that criminals no longer fear the government. I could go on and on, but you get the point. One thing in common for all these crimes are the use of illegal firearms. We will look at these very important questions. Where did these illegal guns came from? Who is sponsoring these tribal conflicts? What is the government doing to address this issue? And how is gun-related crimes affect this country? And what is the best alternate solution to tribal conflicts and the illegal trade of firearms? According to the United Nations Development Programme, 70% of small arms in PNG are illegally obtained and used. That's about 52,000 illegal firearms right now in the hands of criminals and warlords. Only 12% of firearms are licensed and registered. For context, tribal fighting and the warrior concept has been embedded in PNG culture for generations. These conflicts can erupt from various reasons such as politics, land disputes, and intermarriage issues. In the past, intertribal conflicts could often be resolved using traditional methods of negotiation and mediation. However, what has changed is that these tribesmen are now fighting each other with guns instead of bows and arrows. Traditional rules of war designed to protect women and children or allow for ceasefire are long gone.
Well, muna nagam 10,000, 5,000, 4,000 money. Men pick. One give men I give Rajaramura, Angana Yard and give men Rajaramura, one of the
This man is talking about firearms for rent and mercenary guns who have become unpredictable wildcards in the political and criminal violence in PNG Islands tribal conflict. Skilled marksmen known as Ironmen are paid in money, pigs, and women. This new tier of autocratic criminal leadership is undermining traditional, more consultative decision-making, causing tribal fighting to spiral out of control, defying district and provincial boundaries. Where did these illegal guns came from? Most of the illegal firearms used in the crime and conflict come from the 2 main PNG government security forces, the Papua New Guinea Defense Force and the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, or the PNG Police Force. These arms are either stolen or sold by corrupt military and police officers to civilians with criminal motives. The most common illegal assault rifles in PNG are the Australian-made self-loading rifle, commonly known by its initial SLR, and the US-made M16, both sourced from the military and police stocks. An audit in 2004 revealed that 16% of state-issued small arms to PNG defense were unaccounted for, which include but not limited to over 900 assault weapons and 100 plus 50 caliber machine guns. Australia and PNG is separated with only 4 kilometers of sea border at the southern tip of PNG, and Indonesia and PNG shares a straight line of over 800 kilometer land border. These borders are hotspots for transnational crimes, including the illegal smuggling of firearms. The demand for military-style assault weapons in PNG remains high, with buyers paying prices well above global market value. PNG has a demand for security, leading to a booming security industry. Local businessmen and expatriates are registering security companies and obtaining firearms illegally. Unfortunately, this is becoming an alternate source of firearms that are sometimes used in tribal conflicts or criminal behaviors. What is the government doing to address this issue? So far, the government has only been reacting to crimes. The state has failed all these years to combat law and order issues with proactive measures. The continuous declaration of state of emergency has always been the government's favorite to react to crimes. Rules of engagement for military and police units are made in a way that security forces will only become spectators while these tribesmen kill each other with illegal firearms sponsored by the politicians themselves. The only thing PNG leaders are good at is making bold statements in the media. I condemn this and I condemn that. This lip service condemnation doesn't change anything at all. It's true, over the years, the government attempted to solve these gun running issues. In 2004, the Prime Minister Grand Chief Michael Somare established a gun control committee led by former Army Commander Jerry Singro. The committee was tasked to investigate illegal firearms. It took them 5 months to complete these nationwide investigations. They produced a report with 244 recommendations in 2005, but this report has never been tabled in Parliament and is still collecting dust somewhere in the Parliament House shelves as I speak. This shows a lack of complete political will. In 2018, the PNG Parliament enacted strict gun laws, imposing penalties for unlicensed firearms and manufacturing. Nobody has been arrested and charged under this law yet, and therefore the rule of this law is deemed useless. A proposed gun buyback program by Police Commissioner David Manning before the 2022 national elections did not even materialize. As of 2025, the new tactical force, Kumu 23, has been created under the anti-terrorism law to combat gun violence in this country. Prime Minister James Marape described this force as a powerful tool for addressing security issues. This anti-terrorism unit will comprise of some of the best in the PNC defense and the police force. They will be deployed to some of the worst tribal conflict zones with new rules of engagement with necessary hardware and resources. Only time will tell of their success in combating gun-related crimes in this country. Gun running from other parts of PNG to the islands is financed and facilitated by politicians and civil servants at the highest level, including educated elites. Many illicit high-powered firearms in Papua New Guinea have been deployed by political candidates, sitting MPs and their supporters to intimidate rivals and voters. 40% of people live below the extreme poverty line in this country. How is it possible that many of these village people who cannot even afford to pay for their children's school fee suddenly have the money to buy illegal guns worth thousands of kina? Politicians have frequently used their licensed firearms to threaten and harm others. Businessmen, leaders, and educated allies are supplying guns and financing the engagement of gunmen, which is an open secret throughout this land. The effects of gun running in PNG is obvious and prevalent. Violence is crippling this country. What we have seen from these tribal conflicts are the continuous displacement of communities, loss of life. Tribal conflicts are undermining governance, causing disruption in economic activities, causing social fragmentation, affecting schools and overall education, eroding our culture, increasing our crime rate index, and crime may draw international scrutiny, impacting foreign relations and aid. The most widely accepted solution is the implementation of the Guns Control Committee report and recommendations done by former PNG Army Commander Jerry Singoro and his team. It's been almost 20 years now, and that report is yet to be tabled in Parliament. One of the recommendations contained in the report is for police to hunt down illegal gun owners and take it from them, which I believe comes under the scope of the newly created Kumu 23 force. The other recommendation is also to ban individuals to legally obtain weapons. Securing the borders of Papua New Guinea presents significant challenge due to its rugged terrains and limited military resources. Numerous critical border points remained unmanned and unmonitored. The country's strategic location and porous borders have turned into an haven for transnational crimes, particularly the smuggling of illegal firearms. To address this issue, the government must increase military recruitment to enhance our capacity. It is also essential to equip our police force with the necessary resources and provide them with the world-class training to effectively gather intelligence and conduct investigation and apprehend those involved in transnational crimes. While leakage from PNG defense stocks has decreased due to an Australian-funded armory rebuilding program, we need to continue and embed the armory rebuilding program within our military and police operations. Accountability for guns and ammunition must be paramount, and harsh punishments should be enforced for rogue officers selling government arms to domestic terrorists. A key issue for Papua New Guinea police is finding evidence that links these sponsors of the tribal conflicts and the illegal trade of firearms. Papua New Guinea law enforcement faces the challenge of identifying politicians, businessmen, and elites involved in gun running in this country. Identifying individuals funding illegal firearms trafficking and fueling tribal conflicts in PNG requires a multifaceted approach. This includes gathering open source intelligence through public records and social media, analyzing networks and business interests, and collaborating with local NGOs that have first-hand knowledge. Monitoring financial transactions and understanding the legal context can help identify potential violations. The gun buyback scheme can be seen as a good option to try and cut the high rates of gun violence in PNG. Buying back guns means less guns in civilians' hands. However, the downside is that it could create a temptation that it becomes a source of making money by people finding guns somewhere and going through the buying back process with much higher price. A gun buyback scheme done by Australia in 1996, the Port Arthur massacre, was successful because at the same time, they were able to cut off the source of supply. Until PNG can cut off the source of supply by protecting its border 100%, prosecuting those financing the trade and enforcement of gun laws, then gun buyback will be successful. In summary, the issue surrounding gun violence in Papua New Guinea is very complex and multifaceted. Addressing this challenge requires a coordinated effort from the government, its development partners, law enforcement, and of course us, the community. We need more proactive measures and less reactive measures to reduce the illegal use of firearms in our beloved country.